After 15 years, you're just a nobody here. We're bringing in someone better. That's what Colton said to me. Not in private, not with any hesitation. He said it in front of 5 other people in that big meeting room on the 3rd floor of Belmont Furnishings, leaning back in his seat like he'd just announced what he wanted for lunch. His father, Leonard, sat 2 chairs down from him, arms crossed, watching me the way you'd watch someone sweep the floor. 3 other men I'd never seen before were there too, probably friends of Colton from whatever fancy place he went to study. They were all smiling. I looked at Colton's face, 27 years old, hair gelled back, wearing a watch that probably cost more than what I made in 6 months. He'd been working here for 2 years. 2 years. I'd been here for 15. We need someone who understands the modern way of doing things, he continued, waving his hand around like he was explaining something obvious. Someone fresh. Someone who can think bigger. Leonard nodded. Just once. That single nod felt heavier than anything Colton had said. I should tell you how I got here, how this whole thing started. 15 years ago, I was 29. I had just lost my previous job at a printing company that shut down overnight. No warning. One day we were working. The next day the shutters were down. I had rent to pay, a younger brother still in school, and parents who depended on the money I sent home every month. I needed work. Any work. A friend told me Belmont Furnishings was looking for someone to handle operations. I didn't even know what operations meant back then. I thought it meant I'd be managing people, or something important. When I went for the interview, Leonard explained it to me. He needed someone to make sure the wood came in on time, that the workers building the furniture got their pay, that the trucks left when they were supposed to. He needed someone to handle all the things that nobody sees but everyone needs. It's not glamorous, he'd told me that day. But without this, nothing else works. I took the job. I needed the money. The first month was chaos. I didn't understand anything. The wood would arrive late or not at all. The craftsmen would complain about payments. The truck drivers would show up on the wrong days. I went home every night with my head pounding, wondering if I'd made a mistake. But then I started to learn. I started to understand how everything connected. The wood came from Walter's timber yard, 3 hours north of here. He'd been working with Belmont for almost 20 years. When I first met him, he barely looked at me. I was just another person from the company telling him what to do. But I didn't tell him what to do. I asked him questions. How long does it take to cut teak properly? What happens when the rains come early? Why does rosewood cost more in certain months? He started talking to me, really talking. Within 6 months, Walter would call me directly when there was a problem, and we'd figure it out together. When his daughter got married 3 years later, he invited me. I went. I met his wife, his grandchildren, his entire family. His wife started sending me sweets during every festival. Small things, but they mattered. Then there were the craftsmen, 58 men who built the furniture. They'd been doing this for years, some of them for decades. Their hands could shape wood in ways I'd never seen before, but they were always worried about getting paid late. The previous person handling operations had a habit of delaying payments because the company was waiting for clients to pay first. I stopped that. I made sure they got paid on time, every single time. When one of them had a sick child and needed extra money, I figured out how to get it approved. When another one needed a week off for a family emergency, I covered for him. They started trusting me. They'd call me when something wasn't right with an order. They'd stay late when we needed to finish something urgent. They'd tell me things they'd never tell Leonard or anyone else in the company. My cousin Ray ran a transport business 2 states away. Small operation, maybe 15 trucks. When Belmont needed reliable transportation, I brought Ray in. He gave us fair prices, and I made sure he got consistent work. For 10 years, his trucks carried everything Belmont sent out. This was my job. Invisible work. Nobody saw it. Nobody thought about it. When clients visited Belmont, they met Leonard. They met the designers. They saw the fancy showroom. They never met me. I was in the back, making sure everything actually happened. And it worked. For 15 years, it worked. 60 million worth of furniture moved every year. Orders were fulfilled. Clients were happy. Belmont grew. Then Colton came back from abroad. Leonard's only son. The heir. Everyone knew he'd take over someday. When he arrived 2 years ago, Leonard threw a big celebration. Introduced him to everyone. Colton walked around, shaking hands, smiling that practiced smile, talking about innovation and growth and all these big words that sounded impressive but meant nothing. At first, He didn't bother me. He was busy with other things, sitting in meetings with designers, talking to clients, learning the business. But slowly, he started asking questions. Why were we still working with the same timber yard? Why were we using the same transport company? Why weren't we trying to cut costs? I explained it to him. These relationships took years to build. These people were reliable. They trusted us. We trusted them. That's why everything worked smoothly. He didn't care. He kept saying we needed to be more efficient, more modern. He brought in his friends to analyze everything. They'd walk around with their notebooks, asking the craftsmen strange questions, measuring things that didn't need measuring. 6 months ago, Colton told Leonard they should hire someone else for my position. Someone younger, he said. Someone with new ideas. Leonard listened. He always listened to his son. My name is Vera. And that day in the meeting room, when Colton told me I was nobody, I knew exactly what was coming next. Your last day will be Friday, Colton said, still smiling. We'll have someone new starting Monday. You'll need to hand over everything to him. All your contacts, all your information. Make it easy for him. Leonard finally spoke. We appreciate your years here, but it's time for a change. The 3 other men just watched. One of them was probably the person replacing me. He looked excited. I sat there for a moment. I could feel my heart beating, but my face stayed calm. I'd learned a long time ago not to show what I was feeling. Before I go further, I want to thank everyone who's listening to this. It means a lot that you're here, giving me your time. I know you probably have 100 other things you could be doing right now. If you're listening while traveling, while working, while doing anything at all, thank you. Drop a comment and tell me where you're listening from. I'd love to know. Now, back to what happened. I looked at Colton, then at Leonard, then at the stranger who was about to take everything I'd built. I understand, I said. My voice came out steady, clear. I stood up. I'll make sure everything is handed over properly. Colton looked pleased with himself. Leonard looked relieved. They thought this was going to be difficult. They thought I'd cry or beg or make a scene. I walked out of that room and went back to my spot on the 2nd floor. I sat down. I didn't move for 10 minutes. I just sat there, breathing, thinking. Then I picked up my bag and left. It was only 3 in the afternoon, but I didn't care. I walked out of Belmont Furnishings and went home. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my small apartment, drinking tea, staring at the wall. 15 years. 15 years of my life. And to them, I was nobody. But here's what Colton didn't know, what Leonard didn't know, what none of them knew. Those relationships I'd built, they weren't Belmont's relationships. They were mine. Walter answered on the 2nd ring. Hello. His voice was rough, tired. It was almost 8 in the evening. He was probably home already. Walter, it's Vera. Vera, how are you? Is everything all right? That was Walter, always asking if I was okay before talking about work. I need to tell you something, I said. I'm leaving Belmont. Today was my last day. Silence on the other end. Then, what? Why? What happened? I told him. I told him everything. About Colton. About the meeting. About being called nobody after 15 years. Walter listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something I didn't expect. What do you need me to do? Not sympathy. Not apologies. Just that question. What do you need me to do? I need you to stop sending wood to Belmont, I said. Starting tomorrow. Tell them you're fully booked. Tell them whatever you want, but don't send them anything. Another pause. Longer this time. Walter's timber yard supplied almost 70% of Belmont's wood. He'd been working with them for nearly 20 years. This wasn't a small thing I was asking. You sure about this? He asked. Yes. All right, he said. Consider it done. They won't get a single plank from me. Walter, this might hurt your business too. He laughed. Actually laughed. Vera, you think Belmont is my only client? I've got 4 other furniture companies wanting to work with me. I stayed with Belmont because of you. Because you treated me with respect. Because you paid on time. Because you came to my daughter's wedding. Leonard never even knew my daughter's name. So yes, I'm sure. I felt something in my chest tighten. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just promise me something. Whatever you do next, wherever you go, call me. I'll work with you. I promised. Next, I called Ray, my cousin. He picked up immediately. Vera? What's wrong? You never call this late. I quit today. Well, they fired me. Same thing. Ray knew about my job. He knew about Belmont. His trucks had been moving their furniture for 10 years. Tell me what happened, he said. I told him the same story. When I finished, Ray was angry. I could hear it in his voice. That little boy said that to you? After everything you've done? Ray, I need your trucks off their routes. Starting tomorrow. Tell them you're completely booked. Tell them your trucks broke down. Tell them anything. All 15 trucks? All 15. Ray breathed out slowly. You know what this means, right? Belmont has orders going out every week. If my trucks don't move, their furniture sits in the warehouse. I know. Good. They can sit there and rot. I'm done with them. When do I tell them? Tonight. Send them a message tonight. Tell them you can't service them anymore. And with pleasure, Ray said. And Vera, whatever you're planning, I'm with you. The hardest conversation came next. I had to call the craftsmen, but I couldn't call all 58 of them individually. Instead, I called Bruno. He was the oldest among them, 63 years old, been building furniture since he was 17. Everyone listened to Bruno. Vera? He sounded concerned. You don't usually call at night. Is something wrong? I told him. I told him everything. Bruno didn't speak for almost a full minute. When he finally did, his voice was different, lower, angrier. That boy doesn't know what he's done, Bruno said. Does Leonard know how stupid this is? Leonard agreed with him. Then Leonard's a fool. You know how many times you saved us. You know how many times you made sure we got paid when the company was struggling. How many times you helped us when we needed something. Bruno, I need to ask you something big. Say it. I need you and the others to stop working. Tomorrow. Don't go to Belmont. Tell everyone. Tell all 58 of them. Bruno was quiet again. I knew what I was asking. These men needed their daily wages. They had families, bills, responsibilities. Asking them to skip work wasn't small. For how long? Bruno asked. I don't know. Maybe a few days. Maybe a week. Maybe more. What about their pay? They need money, Vera. I know. I have some savings. I can help. Not much, but something. No. Bruno's voice was firm. Keep your money. I'll talk to the others. We'll manage. Do you know why? Because you never treated us like workers. You treated us like people. When my wife was sick 2 years ago, you got me extra money without me even asking. When Paulo's son needed help with school fees, you found a way. We remember these things, Vera. All of us do. My throat felt tight. I couldn't speak for a moment. Thank you, I whispered. Don't thank me yet. Tomorrow morning, that factory floor will be empty. Let's see what that boy does then. I hung up. I sat in my apartment, in the dark, holding my phone. 3 conversations. That's all it took. 3 conversations to undo 15 years of work. But it wasn't just about revenge. It was about showing them what invisible actually meant. They thought I was nobody. They were about to learn what nobody could do. I fell asleep sometime after midnight. When I woke up the next morning, my phone was ringing. I looked at the screen. Leonard. I didn't answer. It kept ringing. I turned it off. I made breakfast slowly. Toast, eggs, tea. I ate, sitting by the window, watching people walk by on the street below. Normal people doing normal things, going to work, living their lives. Nobody knew what was happening at Belmont right now. I turned my phone back on around 11. 23 missed calls. Leonard, Colton, numbers I didn't recognize. Probably other people from Belmont. I didn't call back. Instead, I went for a walk. The streets were busy. Cars honking. Shops open. People everywhere. I walked for 2 hours, just thinking, remembering. 15 years of my life had been spent making sure a company ran smoothly. And in one afternoon, they'd erased me. But they hadn't erased what I'd built. They'd just lost access to it. When I got back home, my phone showed 41 missed calls. I still didn't answer. I made lunch. I cleaned my apartment. I did laundry. Normal things. Calm things. Around 4 in the afternoon, my phone rang again. This time, it was a number I didn't know. I answered. Vera? A man's voice. Panicked. This is Derek. I'm the new operations manager at Belmont. Leonard gave me your number. We have a serious problem. Derek. The replacement. The person who was supposed to be better than me. What kind of problem? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. Everything's falling apart. None of the craftsmen showed up today. Not a single one. The timber yard won't take our calls. The transport company says they're fully booked for months. We have orders worth millions sitting here with no way to complete them. Clients are calling asking where their furniture is. I don't know what to do. Leonard said, "You might know what's going on." I let the silence stretch. Let him sit in it. "Vera? Are you there?" "I'm here. Please. We need your help. Can you tell us what happened? Did something go wrong with the workers? With the suppliers?" "I don't work there anymore," I said simply. "Remember? I'm nobody." "I know, but please, this is urgent. We're losing clients." Leonard is furious. Colton is running around trying to fix things, but nothing's working. You know these people. You know how everything works. We need you. And out of the people, you need me? I repeated the words slowly. Yesterday, I was nobody. Today, you need me. That's interesting. I'm sorry about what happened. I really am. But right now, we have a crisis. Can you at least tell us who to talk to? How to reach the timber yard? How to contact the craftsman? I gave you everything during the handover. I lied. I hadn't handed over anything. I'd walked out. All the information was there. There was nothing. No contacts, no details, nothing useful. Just some basic names. That's unfortunate. Vera, please. People are going to lose their jobs if this continues. The company could shut down. Then I guess Colton should have thought about that before he called me nobody. I hung up. My phone rang immediately. I turned it off again. That evening, I got a message on my personal email from Leonard himself. "Vera, we need to talk. This situation is unacceptable. Call me immediately." I deleted it. The next day, I woke up to more messages, more missed calls. I ignored all of them. On the third day, Bruno called me. "Vera, you should know something. Belmont's new manager came to my house yesterday, begging me to come back to work, offering more money. I told him no. I called the others. They all said no too. He started crying, actual tears, said he was going to lose his job. I felt a strange satisfaction hearing that. What did you tell him? I told him he was working for the wrong people. I told him if he wanted to keep his job, he should tell Leonard to call you and apologize. He asked for your number. I didn't give it to him. Thank you, Bruno. One more thing. Walter called me. He said Belmont tried to contact 3 other timber yards. All of them refused to work with them. Apparently, word spread about what they did to you. Nobody wants to deal with a company that throws away loyal people. I hadn't expected that. I hadn't asked Walter to spread the word. He'd done it on his own. "How are the others managing?" I asked. "The craftsmen. Are they okay without work?" "We're fine. Some of us picked up small projects here and there. We're supporting each other. Don't worry about us. Worry about finishing what you started." On the 4th day, my phone rang from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Vera?" Leonard's voice, but different, smaller, tired. "I'm listening," I said. "I need you to come back." "No, please. I'm asking you. We made a mistake. Colton made a mistake. I made a mistake. The company is falling apart. We have orders we can't fulfill. Clients are canceling. We're losing everything. You told me I was nobody," I said quietly. "You sat there while your son said that to me. After 15 years, you didn't defend me. You didn't stop him. You agreed with him." "I made a business decision," Leonard said. His voice sounded defensive now. "Colton thought we needed someone new. I trusted his judgment. And where is Colton now?" I asked. Silence. "Let me guess?" I continued. "He's not handling this crisis, is he? He's not the one calling me. He's not the one begging. He's probably sitting somewhere blaming everyone else. He's trying to find solutions. He's trying to save himself," I said. "Leonard, I gave you 15 years. I made your company run like clockwork. I built relationships that took years to create. I knew every single person involved in making Belmont work. And you threw me away because your son thought I was old news. I know I was wrong. But please, we can fix this. Come back. I'll double your salary. Triple it. Name your price. This isn't about money. Then what is it about? Tell me what you want." What did I want? I'd thought about this for 4 days. What did I actually want? "I want you to understand what you lost," I said. "I want Colton to understand that people aren't just replaceable. I want that man you hired, Derek, to understand that you can't just walk into someone's work and expect everything to magically work for you. But most of all, Leonard, I want you to remember this feeling, this helplessness, because that's what you made me feel. So you won't come back? No. Then tell me how to fix this. Tell me how to reach the timber yard, the transport company, the workers. I'll do it myself. I'll apologize to all of them. They won't work with you. Why not? We'll pay them more. We'll treat them better. Because they're not loyal to Belmont, I said. They were loyal to me, and you got rid of me. Leonard's breathing got heavier. I could hear the panic setting in. This will destroy the company. 30 years I've built this business. 30 years. And it's all collapsing because of one decision. Yes, I said simply. That's exactly what's happening. I hung up before he could respond. 2 more days passed. I heard through Bruno that Belmont had tried hiring new craftsmen. They found 12 people willing to work, but 12 people couldn't do what 58 experienced craftsmen could do. The quality wasn't there. The speed wasn't there. One client came to inspect their order and walked out when they saw the work. They canceled on the spot. Ray told me Belmont had approached transport companies from 3 different cities, offering double the usual rates. 2 of them refused outright. The third agreed, but their trucks broke down mysteriously on the first delivery. Ray laughed when he told me that. Apparently, truck drivers talked to each other. Word had spread. Nobody wanted to help the company that had disrespected someone who'd dedicated 15 years to them. Walter sent me a message. Belmont contacted 6 other timber suppliers. Every single one turned them down. You're a legend now. Everyone in the industry knows what happened. I hadn't wanted to become a legend. I just wanted respect. On the 7th day, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find Leonard standing there. No driver, no assistant, just him. He looked like he'd aged 5 years in 1 week. His eyes were red. How did you find my address? I asked. It's in your employment file, he said. Can I come in? I considered saying no, but I was curious. I stepped aside. Leonard walked in slowly, looking around my small apartment. 1 bedroom, tiny kitchen, basic furniture. This was where I lived. This was what 15 years at Belmont had given me. I'm not here to offer you your job back, he said, sitting down on my couch without being invited. I'm here to tell you that you've won. Belmont is finished. We've lost 8 major clients in 1 week. The orders we can't fulfill are worth $43 million. Our reputation is destroyed. Banks are asking questions about our ability to deliver. Colton's replacement, Derek, quit yesterday. He said he couldn't handle the stress. We've had to lay off 17 people from other departments because we can't pay them. I sat down across from him. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt tired. I thought this would make me feel better, I said quietly. Then stop it, Leonard said. Call them. Tell the timber yard to work with us again. Tell the transport company. Tell the craftsmen. You can end this today. I can't. What do you mean you can't? They listen to you. They do listen to me. I agreed. But I'm not going to tell them to go back. Because that would mean I'm telling them that what Colton did was okay. That treating people like they're disposable is acceptable if you just apologize afterward. I won't do that. Leonard put his head in his hands. What do you want from me, Vera? Do you want me to fire Colton? Do you want me to publicly apologize? Do you want the company to fail? Tell me. I want you to sit with what you've done, I said. I want you to understand that the people you thought were just workers, just suppliers, just names on a list, they were the foundation of everything. Without them, you have nothing. Without me coordinating all of them, you had nothing. And you traded all of that for what? For your son's ego? For someone younger who looked better in meetings? I made a mistake. Yes, you did. And mistakes have prices, Leonard. This is yours. He looked up at me. You're really going to let the company die? 30 years of work? Hundreds of families who depend on Belmont for their income? That stopped me. He was right. Belmont employed a lot of people. Designers, sales staff, administrative workers. People who had nothing to do with what happened to me. They were losing their jobs because of this. Those people are losing their jobs because of your decision, I said. Not mine. You fired me. You started this. I'm just showing you what happens when you remove the person who held everything together. Leonard stood up. He looked defeated. I'm going to have to shut down operations for at least 2 months. Maybe longer. I don't know if we'll recover. Colton keeps saying we can rebuild, find new suppliers, hire new workers, but I know better. What you built took 15 years. We don't have 15 years. What about Colton? I asked. What does he think about all this? Leonard's jaw tightened. He's going back abroad next week. He says there's nothing more he can do here. He's leaving me to clean up his mess. Of course he was. Colton had never faced consequences for anything in his life. Why would this be different? After Leonard left, I sat in my apartment for a long time. I thought about all the people losing their jobs, the designers who had families, the sales staff who needed their salaries, the administrative workers who'd done nothing wrong. But then I thought about something else. If I helped Belmont recover, what message would that send? That you could treat people however you wanted, and they'd still save you when you needed them. That loyalty was one-sided? No. Some lessons needed to be learned the hard way. 3 weeks later, I heard the news. Belmont Furnishings had officially ceased operations. They'd filed for protection from creditors. The building was being sold. Leonard was trying to pay back what he could, but it wasn't enough. Bruno called me that afternoon. We heard. It's really over. Yes. How do you feel? I don't know, I said honestly. Empty, I think. The others want to know what you're planning to do next. We're all waiting. Whatever you decide, we're with you. I hadn't thought about what came next. I'd been so focused on what happened that I hadn't planned beyond it. But then something occurred to me. All these people, Walter, Ray, Bruno, and the 57 other craftsmen, they were all available now. They were all skilled. They all trusted each other. They all knew how to work together. Bruno, I said slowly, what if we started something new? What do you mean? What if we created our own furniture business? Small at first, just us. Walter supplies the wood. Ray handles transport. You and the others build the furniture. I coordinate everything like I always did. Bruno was quiet for a moment. Then, would that work? I don't know, but we'd be working for ourselves this time. No one could tell us we're nobody. No one could throw us away. I need to think about this. Talk to the others. Take your time. 2 days later, Bruno called back. We're in. All of us. When do we start? Starting a business from nothing wasn't easy. We didn't have fancy offices or big investments. We pooled what savings we had. Ray offered his warehouse as our initial workspace. Walter gave us wood at cost for the first 3 months. The craftsmen agreed to work for smaller wages until we started making profits. We called it Arbor Works. Simple name, nothing fancy. Our first order came from a small restaurant that needed custom furniture. The owner had heard about what happened with Belmont. He wanted to support us. That order led to another, then another. Word spread about craftsmen who did quality work, who delivered on time, who treated their clients with respect. 6 months later, we had steady work, not millions like Belmont used to handle, but enough to pay everyone fairly, enough to grow slowly, enough to feel proud. I heard through someone that Leonard had moved to another city. Colton was still abroad, working at some company his father had connections with. Derek, the replacement who'd lasted 3 days, was apparently working at a bookshop now. And me? I woke up every morning and went to work with people who valued me. People who understood that relationships mattered more than resumes. People who knew that calling someone nobody was the fastest way to lose everything. Before I end this, I want to thank you again for listening all the way through. Your time means everything. If this story meant something to you, if it made you feel something, I'd be grateful if you could hit that like button, leave a comment telling me your thoughts, subscribe if you want to hear more stories like this. It helps more than you know. The thing about being called nobody is that it teaches you something important. It teaches you that your worth isn't determined by what someone else thinks of you. Your worth is in what you build, who you help, and how you treat people along the way. Colton thought I was nobody. Leonard agreed with him. They learned differently. And somewhere in that lesson, I learned something too. I learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's rebuilding. Taking everything they said you couldn't do and doing it anyway. Taking the people they thought were disposable and creating something better with them. Belmont Furnishings is gone, but Arbor Works exists. And every piece of furniture we create, every client we serve, every person we employ with dignity, that's my answer to being called nobody. That's how this story ends. Not with me crying or broken, not with them begging me to come back and me accepting, but with me building something new from the ruins of what they destroyed. Some people never learn the value of what they have until it's gone. By then, it's already building something better somewhere else.